Welcome, friends. It is the beginning of September, which makes me think of fall and cooler weather and all the holidays that are coming up in the next couple of months. And so I decided to pull a lot of fabric that I had out of inventory that would be perfect for winter and fall outfits. And as you can see, I have quite a bit of fabric. Some of these fabrics you may have seen before if you've been following me or if you've looked through my shop on either Etsy or my website. I've also done some lives on Instagram where I've showed some of these fabrics when I first bought them or released them with a collection. But I wanted to curate them all together here for you and just talk through some good options for your fall or winter historical costuming wardrobe. No matter what you're looking for, whether you're looking for a gown for the Bridgerton experience, for a Halloween costume, a dress for a holiday ball, or even you're into historical reenacting and you need something that gives more of a workaday look, I think you should be able to find what you're looking for in the many options that I have here and that I'm going to discuss today. So, what I'm going to do is I will show you the fabric and talk over some of the options that it could be made into. Some of the fabrics will have many different options, and some of them will have very limited options. This is often due to the amount of yardage that I have, but also due to historical accuracy. I try to stick with historical accuracy as much as possible when it comes to colors and fabric types, and some fabric types and colors are just not as accurate for certain periods as they are for others. If you see a piece and you would like it made into something that I don't mention, feel free to message me and we can discuss that possibility. I do want to reiterate that a lot of the fabric that I buy is dead stock or de-stash pieces, and so I only have a limited amount. Once that amount is gone, it's gone. I cannot get any more of that exact color or type of fabric, and so if I say it can only make a Victorian dress up to size small, for example, that's literally because of the amount of yardage that I have. I generally don't try to say that I can make a Victorian dress out of it unless I can make it all the way up to 5X, because I try to be very size inclusive. But once in a while I will say this one I can do up to a size medium, but I can't do any larger just because of the yardage. And that's usually because that fabric is very suited for that era or that type of dress, but sadly I wasn't able to get enough yardage to go any bigger in the sizing. So if you see something that you like, definitely go straight to the link in the description box and order it right away so that you can get it before it's done. And without further ado, I'm going to start talking through all the possibilities that we have here. I'm going to start with these silks that you see right here. I have this really, really gorgeous red silk. It has a little bit of a burgundy. I would say it's more of a burgundy. It was just sold to me as a silk. It has very, 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 like if you look really, really hard, you can find a few tiny, tiny slubs in it. So I would say it's much closer to a taffeta than it is a dupioni, and it has that nice rustle. I don't know if you can hear it, like taffetas are known for. But this is, I have 3.5 yards of it, which is perfect for a open robe for the Regency era. It would look gorgeous over like a white ball gown for the Regency era if you're going to a ball. Along those same lines, I have this very, very pretty gold. Now this is definitely a dupioni. It has low slubbing, but it is a dupioni. And it has nice silk rustle to it. Same type of thing. It's enough to make an open robe, which once again could look really, really pretty over a ball gown for any type of Regency ball that you may be looking at going to during the holiday season. Then there's this cream silk that I have. Once again, another dupioni, extremely low slubbing. This is enough to make a Victorian ball gown. And if you look at Extant, you can see lots and lots of different light colored ball gowns for the Victorian era. I'm thinking particularly the 1850s and the 1860s. You could also do something for the 1840s with it, which those are the 3 decades that I do in the Victorian era. So this is a gorgeous option for that. You can trim it with all kinds of lace or floral or different things to really make it beautiful. Along the lines of silk, I have a pile of silk right here that I'm going to go through. This is a silk wall, and I forgot to say, excuse the tags. These are my inventory tags, and I'm not going to take them off because it's really hard to remember to put them all back on. It's a lot of work. This is a silk wall, and it's a very lightweight fabric, a little bit sheer. I have quite a bit of yardage of it. I think it would make a gorgeous 1840s fan dress. Or there is a Regency ball gown that is regularly pinned on Pinterest and regularly seen in Facebook groups. And this plaid is very similar. It's not exactly the same, but it's very similar to the plaid used in that ball gown. And this weight of silk is perfect for a Regency gown. So I think it would also make a really pretty Regency ball gown as well. Next up is this gorgeous, I don't know if you can, there, maybe you can catch the light on it a little bit more that way. This gorgeous silver taffeta silk. This is a silk as well. It has a gorgeous sheen on it. And it is enough for a Victorian ball gown for about the 1850s or the 1860s. You could trim it with anything you wanted to your heart's desire. This is a set that I've put together. So the Zouave ensembles that you see during the 1860s, also known as skirt blouse jacket combos, you might know them better by that term. This is perfect for one of those. There's just enough of this checked silk for the skirt. This is a Dupioni. This is a vintage silk. And there's just enough of the scraps to make the jacket that would go with it. And then, of course, you could do a white blouse with it. Or if you wanted a different color blouse, of course, we could discuss that option as well. But I think it's a gorgeous combination. It would make a showstopper. This is another burgundy. So if you were looking at this other burgundy and thinking, man, I want something Victorian out of it, this one's just a little more burgundy than that one. You can see. This is a Dupioni, but very, very low sloping once again. And this would make a gorgeous Victorian era ball gown. So 1850s, 1860s, and this would be just perfect for that. You can see the sheen there as I move it a little bit, hopefully, and just enough yardage. So that is a gorgeous option. You could trim it. I'm looking at the edge. It obviously has some black shot in it, and so you could actually trim it with some black if you wanted. If red and black is your colors. Something like this could also be used as an afternoon gown if you're wanting an afternoon gown. Obviously, somebody that was a more well-to-do class would have had a silk afternoon gown, kind of like a visiting gown or a seating gown or something like that. So this is also an option for something like that. And the reason I thought of that was because I have this gorgeous brown silk. This is another Dupioni that would be perfect for a, I think it's inside out now that I'm flipping it. Yeah, there's the sheen right there. Be perfect for an afternoon gown. If you want a dark brown ball gown, this could be gorgeous with like cream lace, cream bows, cream floral. You could do like a pink with it. I'm trying to think what other colors you could put with this brown. So if you want it as a ball gown, you could definitely have it. I don't see a lot of brown ball gowns, so that's why I was thinking this would be a really nice afternoon gown instead. This could also be really gorgeous as a fan front dress from the 1840s or even in the 1850s, because you'll see those, especially in the 1840s. A lot of people complain the 1840s is drab, but you'll see those darker color dresses, and this would be really great for that. This is another silk. This is a gorgeous, very large scale plaid. Let me put my hand up there. You can kind of see, and I have large hands. I'm very big boned, so I have very large hands. And so this is, you can see kind of like a plum purple in the background, and then it has like a sage and a goldish yellow color in the plaid. This would make a gorgeous ball gown. If you look at the 1860s and the 1850s, they have these large scale plaids they used in ball gowns sometimes. But this would also make a really pretty afternoon gown. So you have two options there. This one, there's a lot of yardage. So if you wanted to do a three-piece gown, you could do that with this as well. You could do the skirt and then do two bodices for it. You could do the ball gown bodice and the afternoon gown bodice, or the day dress bodice, and then it would be very multi-purpose. So let's switch to Regency for a minute. I have a couple of options for the colorful petticoats that we came out with in the spring 22 launch that have been really popular. I've made a lot of different colorful petticoats throughout the summer. This is a really pretty berry cotton sateen. It's a very soft tan, very flowy, really, really pretty. It's a berry color. There's also this, which looks extremely fall. This is a homespun cotton. It has the tan in the background with the hunter green and the burgundy check, and this is just enough for a gorgeous, colorful petticoat. If you're not familiar with colorful petticoats during the Regency era, they would often serve multi-purpose roles. They could be worn in the morning with a shirt waist underneath them, and then they could be worn in the evening underneath a sheer ball gown to add color. Not so much a check one. I've never seen that underneath a ball gown, but the solid color ones, you'll see them underneath ball gowns in the evening, and it adds a pop of color under that sheer white. They were also more casual morning wear. If you look in Mrs. Hearst Dancing and in the watercolors painted there by Diana Sperling, you'll see the girls very often in the colorful petticoats with the white shirt waist underneath. You actually see them in this next color that I'm going to show you. This is a brown cotton sateen with a really pretty sheen, and you'll see them in brown ones in her watercolors more than once. So there's 3 different options for colorful petticoats that are very fall colored. We also have some options for Regency outerwear. You'll have to excuse any lint that shows up on things. I try to roll the lint off, but there's so much lint. This is a red cotton twill that would make a really nice pelisse or redingote, depending on the style of trimming and the look that you're looking for. You could make it look very military riding habit with the redingote style, or if you just want a nice pelisse for keeping yourself warm. It is cotton, so it's not going to keep you super warm, but it's perfect for climates such as here in Texas, in the South, when you need a little something over your Regency ball gown, or you go outside, or you're doing an outdoor event, but you don't need full out, wool and silk and all of those heavier, thicker fabrics that will keep you really warm. So that's an excellent outerwear option. This is a brown corduroy velvet, which is a new term I've just recently learned. Basically, it's a cordless corduroy. So it looks really, really similar to cotton velveteen, but it's just slightly different. It's a really nice, similar fabric, and it's cheaper. So if you're wanting kind of a velvet look, but you're like, oh, I don't want to pay the extra money for velvet because everything velvet in my shop is more expensive just because fabric's more expensive, you can go with one of these corduroy velvet, and you'll get a very, very similar look for a lot less cost. And I have a couple other ones that I just got in the mail, but I haven't had time to get them up and ready to show yet. So I will be eventually adding those. But this is a really pretty brown color. It would make a gorgeous pelisse, and you could add all kinds of fun little details. You could do something like, this isn't quite the right brown, but if you had a brown that had a little sheen to it, whether it was like a silk or a cotton sateen or something, we could trim it with that and do some of the trimmings that you see on pelisses, especially as you move up into the 18 teens during the Regency era. Moving on to Regency day dresses, I have this gorgeous brown, some people call it Swiss dot, I call it a tufted cotton, and I think I learned that from Dress in the Age of Jane Austen, but I need to double check my sources. But it's just got the little clipped dots here, and you'll see it a lot in white, but this one was a brown one, and I thought it was really unusual. And I found several Regency era fashion plates that have them in the brown day dresses, and so I thought this was perfect. So this would make a really nice fall Regency day dress. It's all cotton lawn, so it's a very lightweight fabric. Here's something nice and green for the holiday season. This is a poly satin, so not very historically accurate, but it is the same color almost as one of the dresses that you see Lady Bridgerton wearing in Bridgerton. I believe it's season 1, if I remember correctly. And so if you're wanting a holiday gown that has a little bit of Bridgerton to it, this is a really good option. This one, sadly, I only have 3 yards of it, so I could probably only make up to about a size medium, maybe a size large if I really squeeze, or if you're not super tall. But that's the biggest I'm going to be able to get out of that. Alright, so here is some more Victorian era fabrics. This would make a gorgeous Victorian era day dress. You could use it for the one that I have that has the gathers. That's more of a wash dress. But you could also use it more as an afternoon gown with the more fitted bodice and the darts and everything. And I just love the purple. I love purple. It's one of my favorite colors. So this is a gorgeous option for that. This one reminds me of two different dresses, extant dresses that I've seen photos of. One of them is pretty simple day dress, afternoon dress. And then the other one is extremely fancy afternoon gown with black bows on it. So this is a cotton sateen. It's really, really pretty teal. That could be used to create either one of those looks. It's really gorgeous. This is a khaki, or tan, whatever you want to call it, linen. It's 100% linen. And you could use this as a Victorian day dress. You could also use this for a Victorian era skirt. And then we could either make a matching jacket, because I think I have just enough to make a matching jacket out of it, or you could make a different color jacket, or if you just want a skirt and a blouse, then you could use it for that as well. So there's lots of options with this one. So very Victorian 1860s. This is a black and white check, very small. It's cotton shirting, very nice weight, very nice feel to it. It would make a really, really nice just wash gown. If you're looking for a dark colored wash gown that you can wash and wear, use for different events or reenactments or different things. If you love the nurses / seamstress outfit that I have shown off a few times in some of my photos and things, this would also be a great one to make something like that. And then I could make the white apron with the white cap that goes with it. If you're wanting to use a nurse impression or a seamstress impression, kind of like the dressers in the Queen Victoria show done by BBC. So this is great for either one of those. All right, so here's orange. I am not naturally drawn to orange, but when I found this, I was like, oh, I need to add some orange to my shop because I don't have any. This is a cotton shirting, but it's a heavier shirting. So I don't think it would be very good for the wash dress. I think it would be a little too heavy for the gathers that are in that dress. I think what it would do great as is for the Victorian afternoon gown, the 1850s and 1860s. And the plaid is just fabulous. Very fall with those orange and red colors. And here's another one that's very fall in my opinion. This is a burgundy colored, I was going to say rust, but I think it's a little darker than rust, burgundy colored cotton paisley print. You can see the paisleys here. And there's a couple of options with this. This would make a great wash dress for the 1850s or the 1860s. This would make a great afternoon gown for the 1850s or the 1860s. In addition, if you wanted to do an 1860s zouave ensemble, the skirt, blouse, jacket, or skirt and blouse, you could do this, although I have been reading a book that makes it seem like they didn't wear prints like this very much for those types of ensembles. So if you're trying to be extremely historically accurate, I don't think this would be your best bet for a skirt and blouse combination. But I think it is very accurate for a dress during that era. And here's another one that just screams holiday, Christmas. You've got the red plaid. This is a cotton shirting, very nice weight. Would be perfect for an afternoon gown. And I'm going to put a picture up here of a gown that I'm sure a lot of us have seen. It actually has two bodices, a ball gown bodice and an afternoon bodice. The plaid on that one is much larger scale than this one. This is a much smaller scale. But you could do the afternoon look with this fabric if you wanted to do that. It would be a gorgeous 1860s Christmas gown for the afternoon. Trim it with some green or some gold. It's got a yellow in there. All right, speaking of the nurse and seamstress costume, this whole pile is wool, first off, but these are all dark grays and blacks and browns. And so if you're looking to, like I mentioned, replicate that nurse 1860s nurse's outfit or the mid-Victorian seamstress outfit that you see in the Queen Victoria show, then these are some great options for those things. I've got a very small stripe. This is a gray with a very light gray double stripe alternating, and this is a wool. I believe it's a tropical wool. I didn't make a note on that tag, but it's a very lightweight wool. This is another one. This is actually a really versatile one. It's a wool voile. So it would work for a morning ensemble. It would work for one of the seamstress or nurse looks that I'm talking about, although pretty lightweight for even one of those. And then I'm also thinking that you could get away with using this for a Regency era gown. And I have quite a bit of this. I didn't bring out, I have a whole roll of it too. So this one I have quite a bit of it. So there's a lot of possibilities for it. But I think this would be really good also as a Regency gown, especially if you're wanting to go morning for Regency. I think you could do this as a Regency morning gown in several different styles that are in my shop. This is a gray tropical wool. Perfect. Perfect, perfect for the nurse ensemble or the seamstress ensemble that I keep mentioning. It's really similar to the one that I used to make mine. Mine just has a stripe in it. And so that's really the only difference. The one I used is also a tropical wool. There's another one. This one has a very small stripe in it. This is a dark, dark, dark charcoal. I don't think it's a black. And it has a very light gray, very faint stripe in there. That would be perfect, once again, for an 1860s, 1850s work dress. And I would make it in either pattern, either the wash dress pattern or the afternoon dress. Either one of those would work for this. This is another one. This is a black, definitely a black wool with a very, very faint, small burgundy stripe in it. So if you're wanting something that's just a little different, this is a fun one because it's like, from a distance, it looks pretty just, black. But then when you get close up, it has that really faint little stripe in it that lets a little bit of personality show through. So another great option for those Victorian era dresses. This one, I found it on sale and bought 8 yards of it. Then I forgot I bought 8 yards of it. Found it on sale a couple weeks later again, same shop. Completely forgot I'd already bought it once. Bought 2 batches of it. So I have 16 yards of it. So it's another great one for one of those dresses if you're wanting to go with something that's brown. If you like brown tones more than the blacks and the grays, this is really good for that. You could still use it for a nurse impression if you wanted, because they would just often wear dark colored dresses. There wasn't a strict dress code during the 1860s when it came to nurses' uniforms. But there's a lot of other possibilities for this one as well. You can make a gorgeous redingote or pelisse for the Regency era out of this. You could make a wool cloak for the Regency period, or you could make a wool cape for the Victorian era of this. There's just a ton of different options when it comes to this. This one would also be really pretty as a Zouave ensemble. So you could do the skirt and the jacket out of this brown wool, and then do a white cotton lawn blouse, or any other color that we discussed. So I have plenty of it. There's lots of options, so let me know what you want made out of this one if you like this one. All right, I had to get up and move these last 2 piles because I couldn't. My arms aren't quite that long. All right, let's go back to the Regency era. Here is a black cotton weave. I cannot remember exactly what weave this is. I was saying basket weave the other day when I did it on Instagram Live, but I don't think it's a basket weave. It's just a little different type of weave. And it's perfect amount for a Spencer. So if you're wanting a dark colored Regency era Spencer in a cotton, this is the perfect one for you. This is a dark purple velvet, cotton velveteen. Would make a gorgeous Spencer, just enough for a Spencer. There's not really anything else I could do with it. But if you look at those Regency era Spencers and you want something that's velvet or winter, you see quite a few velvet Spencers actually. This would be perfect. It's kind of one of those that you could do like a trim that had a little bit of sheen to it. So if you wanted to do like a silk piping or some silk decorations or cotton sateen, if we could find one that was, a good matching color to add just a little bit of sheen to it, it would be really, really pretty. And I've seen some accents that look like that. This is a rayon suiting, so I know it's not completely historically accurate. It is more of a natural fiber, but it is not, wouldn't have been around during the Regency era. However, if you're not super into making sure your fabric is historically accurate, it is a really nice choice for a redingote or a pelisse. for that era. It's a nice weight, and you could add military style decorations to it in gold and use it as a redingote. Or if you just want a dark blue navy police, it would work perfectly for that as well. This is a navy. This is a wool blend. If you want a wool blend for a Regency era Spencer or police, this would be perfect for it. Keep you warmer than just a cotton one. And then it's also enough to make a Victorian cape. So if you're winning one of the Victorian capes and you want it in navy instead of black, this would be really nice. And I believe, let me look at the yardage. Yeah, there's enough to make a Regency era cloak. I'm not sure it's on any navy Regency cloaks yet, but that doesn't mean they don't exist. And so if you want a navy Regency cloak, this is your option. These are two 1840s prints, very, very specific to the 1840s. I've been told that they are reproductions, although I have not actually found the dresses that use them. I've looked, but I haven't found them. This one has birds in a gold on a green brown. These are both 100% cotton. So these would both make really nice 1840s fan dresses. I would probably, for these, it's a little heavier cotton. I would probably, instead of just doing the gathering and the ruching that I do, I would do more the look where they have the pleats that are pressed in and stitched down at the bottom to make this fabric look good. And then this is a brown one with, call it a floral stripe, because I don't know if you can see, but it's got the lighter brown and then the darker brown. They alternate, and it's got the vines of flowers growing on it. So that's another really pretty 1840s option. And then I still have a basket. These are the ones that I haven't quite gotten photos of yet, but I will have photos by the time this video goes up. This is a red cotton velveteen. Perfect amount for a Regency era Spencer, and that's about it. If you wanted a Spanish jacket for a Zouave ensemble and you wanted the skirt a different color, I could do that as well with this, but that's pretty much all I can get out of it. It's not a very big piece, but it's a gorgeous fabric and it screams holiday. This is a gorgeous silk. It is shot through with something, although I'm not quite sure. It's shot through with a lighter color. It's obviously got red, and then it's shot through with a lighter color. I don't think it's gold. It's kind of a cream color, it looks like, from the edge where it's unraveling. And it's just got, like, let me move it around in the light, and hopefully you can kind of see how it catches the light and does different colors. This is a perfect amount for a Regency ball gown. So if you love Lady Danbury on Bridgerton and the reds that she wears, and you want a gown like hers, this would be perfect. Here's another orange. This is a silk Dupioni. It's got a plaid, so it has the stripe that goes this way, this blue and darker orange, and then it's got the brownish ground, but then it's also got the blue and the orange going this way in a larger, fainter plaid. And I got enough of this one to make a Victorian era 1850s, 1860s. You could probably even use this one for the 1840s. I've seen some plaids in some 1840s dresses. So something like a day gown or afternoon gown, so a fan front dress for the 1840s or the 1850s, or you could do a darted bodice, a fitted bodice as you get into the later 1850s and the 1860s. This is a wool poly blend. It is a lightweight coating that I have bought to make Regency cloaks. So, if you love the red Regency cloaks that you see in the period dramas, you can see them all over the internet. There's lots and lots of surviving extant red Regency era cloaks. This is just for you. And it's very holiday. It will keep you very warm. And I have enough to make, I'm looking at the yardage. I have enough to make, I think I have two. It's going to be tight, but I think I can do two out of here. This is another great option for a Regency redingote or pelisse. It's a blood red cotton linen. It's from Renaissance Fabrics, actually. I had bought it because I thought it was going to work for something else I needed, and then it got here and it wasn't quite right. And so, perfect, once again, fall, winter color. If you want something that's lighter weight to keep it a little bit warmer than just your dress, but you don't live in a very cold climate, this is once again perfect. This is a navy linen, mid-weight linen. It's the same weight as my lavender Lizzie dress that I have in the shop. So as you can see from that, it's the perfect weight for that. Really pretty. It's a Not a super dark navy, the one on the lighter side, but it's really pretty. So if you're wanting a Regency day dress, perfect amount, perfect color for the fall. This is another brown wool, has a really faint stripe in it. Once again, this one would be great for 1850s, 1860s. If you're wanting a wash dress that's wool, or if you're wanting an afternoon dress with a fitted bodice, this would be another good one. If you're wanting to do nurse impression or seamstress impression, but you don't like the blacks and the grays, you tend to go toward brown, this is a great one for that as well. This is a gold cotton with a twill weave. I think it would be perfect as a Regency pelisse. And it's just very fall because it's got that muted yellow gold color. Once again, if you're wanting a lighter weight fleece, obviously, because it's cotton. Here's another silk that didn't make it on the silk pile. This actually, I have two together. So this is a gold, and then this is a large scale plaid. I put them together because I think they would make a great zouave ensemble. You do the skirt out of this one and the jacket out of this one, and then do a white or a cream blouse with it. But you could also use this as a gold Regency era Spencer if you're wanting a Regency era gold Spencer. This is the perfect amount for a Victorian era skirt, and just enough. So if you're wanting a silk Victorian skirt in a large scale plaid, that's your color. This looks incredibly fall. It's got the cream ground with the little brown and mustard yellow flowers, and it is a cotton lawn. It's a very nice lightweight fabric that would make a perfect Regency gown. It's got the stripes like you often see with their roller prints. So I think this would make a perfect Regency gown in pretty much any of the day dress styles. If you've ever admired the dress that Jane Bennett wears in the 2005 version that's about this color, this would be perfect to replicate it. This is a cotton batiste, and it would work for any kind of Regency era day dress or Regency era open robe. It's kind of a light color for anything else, but you could also use it for if you're wanting like a non-white blouse to go with a zouave ensemble, you could use it for that. This is a linen, just enough to make a Regency era day dress. It has a white background with these mustard yellow and really dark burgundy designs on it. Maybe it's a brown. It has a little bit of a red in it though, red tinted. And it's set on the diagonal. So it's a really pretty linen for a Regency era day dress. And then the last one I have is a stripe, a large stripe. This is a silk once again. It has the cream with the red and the green stripe in it. Perfect amount for a Victorian era skirt. So if you're wanting a Christmassy looking Victorian skirt, that would be just perfect. You could put a red jacket with it and be all set. I hope this has provided some inspiration for you with your fall, winter, historical clothing wardrobe, and I hope that you have seen something here that you like. If you want to shop, you can click on the link in the description box below. If you want to discuss one of these fabrics and a possible idea that you have, please feel free to message me. You can find a contact form on my website, which is also in the link in the description box below. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you have a wonderful fall and winter 2022.